Mary Lee fashion. Welcome to the Kiwanis Club of Kingsport's 2026 Candidate Forum. I'm Brett Mullins, Vice President of the Kiwanis Club of Kingsport and Chair of the Civic and Business Affairs Committee. It's my pleasure to serve as your host today. Kiwanis is a global organization dedicated to improving the world, one child and one community at a time. Kiwanis Club of Kingsport has served Kingsport and its children for over 100 years while fulfilling our motto of serving the children of the world. There are a total of 23 candidates representing districts 6 through 11, which will be narrowed down to 14 on May 5th. Early voting, and this is a reminder everyone, early voting will begin April 15th and run through April 30th. Now let's get to the meat and potatoes of the program. Each candidate today will be granted 3.5 minutes to introduce themselves and address why they are running for county commission. Admiral John McKinley will be our timekeeper to make sure we stay on track, and he'll give you a 15-second notification to let you know that your time's about to end. And he's got the gavel, and when you hear the gavel, that means it's time to get off the stage. So he will let you know when your time's up. Earlier, all the candidates were given a list of 7 topics that the Civic and Business Affairs Committee felt were relevant to the club and Kingsport as a whole. And if you read the Kingsport Times, the cat may have been let out of the bag yesterday with former Mayor Scholl's editorial. But these are things that, as a club and as a city, we feel are important. So copies are also on the tables for everyone of the topics. The time will be limited to 3.5 minutes. It's going to be hard to introduce yourself and incorporate all 7 in, but if you feel passionate about something, please feel free to address that and also address as many issues as you can. Essentially we're looking to where you stand on the issues to make it a more substantive meeting. The topics are as follows, and I'm going to read. Should the size of the commission be reduced? Is 24 an unwieldy number? Of the 24 commissioners, 14 are in districts 6 through 11. Number 2, should funding be restored to PetWorks Animal Shelter? The county funds the Bluntville shelter but provides $0 to PetWorks. With animal control being a government mission and over 55,000 Kingsport citizens also being county citizens, should the funding for PetWorks be restored? Should appropriate funding be restored to Kingsport City Schools? Prior commission decisions have impacted or reduced funding for all school districts, including Bristol and Sullivan County. Number 4, should the pay of county commissioners be reduced? County commissioner pay is $900 monthly versus Kingsport alderman pay of $200 monthly. Number 5, should the automatic pay raise resolution be ended? Every time the state increases the pay of constitutional officers, for example, mayor, sheriff, and so forth, the commissioners get the same percentage pay increase without a vote. Should commissioners have to vote each time they think they should receive a pay raise? Number 6, should an absentee policy be instituted for chronic absences? Should there be a penalty or visibility of this for accountability purposes? And number 7, with Kingsport having the largest population of all the municipalities in the county, should funding be carried out on a pro rata basis? For example, there are examples of Bristol receiving the exact same funding through various commission acts like grants. While Bristol is a great city, its population is much smaller than Kingsport. So those are the topics that we've asked the candidates to address. Much as Dave Light has said, on behalf of the Kingsport Kiwanis, we want to thank you each for taking the time to be here today and for your willingness to serve to make our community a better place. Let's give them all a hand. I'm going to change things up a little bit. I think y'all are used to going District 6 in order, so today we're going to go backwards. But we'll go backwards and ask as you present, please come forward. I'll hand you the mic. I'll make an introduction to you. And then as you conclude, and then I'll introduce the next guest. Before we get started, are there any questions? Okay. No questions. Got a quiet group. So, as I said, we will go backwards, and that was not what I originally planned, but things sometimes change. So, with that said, Philip Marshall, if you'll please come forward.
Thank you all for having us today. I appreciate everybody being here. I'm going to try to touch on as many of these as I can in 3.5 minutes before I hear the bell, and we'll get rolling. My name is Philip Marshall. I'm District 11. Been married for 15 years to my wife, Virginia, and I have 3 kids, 12, 11, and 7, almost 8. All of my kids are in Kingsport City Schools, and they're the primary reason that I'm standing in front of you today. As Brent alluded to in one of the questions on the sheet that we were given, and by the way, your all's questions are always fantastic. So thank you to the committee for putting these together. They're always very on point and on topic. Is that better? Okay, sorry. Do I need to start over? Okay. In an ideal world, I would love to see the funds that have been reallocated away from education. This is not just Kingsport City Schools, but all Sullivan County schools put back into the system where they belong. I don't know if that's going to be possible. I would love to see it happen, but at least what I would love to see is the allocation to go back to where it used to be, so that we're not having continuous recurring monies going away from education into other things. And I'm not saying that these other areas are not important. However, we all know that education is the foundational tenet for a successful civilization. It leads to economic development. It leads to lower crime rate, lower drug abuse, which are things that we constantly see issues with in this area. So I would love to see those monies go back, or at least be attributed as they used to be. I would also like to see a way in which we could provide all of this information to the public at your disposal, as simple as getting online, seeing where the pennies on the tax rate, whether it changes or not, where those pennies are going to. Are rates going up? Are they going down? Where is the allocation going? So that all of the commissioners, whether I'm elected or not, can very plainly answer the questions that you may have on where those pennies of the dollar are going, because transparency has to be paramount when it comes to the fiscal responsibility that's required by an elected official. Let's see. Should the size of the commission be reduced? I think 24 is a lot. There are other places where it's a much larger geographic area with much fewer commissioners. I also believe at a foundational level, the larger the government, the smaller the citizen. And as an elected representative of the citizenship, it's really difficult to do that if you've got a diluted pool. Now, I don't know what that would look like, but I know other areas locally, like Washington County, have done it successfully, and I think Sullivan County could do it successfully as well. The Pet Works and Sullivan County Animal Shelter issue, I need to be more knowledgeable about that, but I do think there's a way that we can make both of those things successful. I mean, again, I don't know what exactly that would look like, but between the city and the county, I think we could have a relationship discussion about what that would look like to make it better for everybody. I already touched on the school district stuff. Pay for the county commissioners, $900 times 24 adds up to a substantial amount of money. So I think you could probably find a way to better use taxpayer dollars, whether it be a decreased pay rate or fewer commissioners. And I'm about to get the bell. So thank you for your time.
Thank you. All right, next, and I hope I get the name correct, representing District 10, Dominic.
Oh, we know who you're talking
Kosmowskis. So,
We know who you're talking
who
about.
needs no introduction?
That's why I just go by Dominic, and I got the hint. Proud to do it. Thank you. Appreciate it. Good attempt. That was close. Dominic Kosmowskis. I live at 1917 Hudson Drive in Bloomingdale, and thank you for the opportunity to do this. And sadly, the Food City people stepped out. I was going to say thanks to the Food City people, because every time there's an event here, they do a bang-up job. So thanks to the Food City people. A little bit about me, why I'm in uniform. Oh, I got that hint too. American Legion Honor Guard. Got 3 funerals today. So this kind of squeezed right in between 2. That's why I was the one that asked to do the reverse on the districts. But American Legion, anybody's unfamiliar with the American Legion, we're just like Kiwanis, but we do veterans rather than children. All same activities, all same mindset, all same volunteering. And thank you for what you all doing. Married 30 years as of April 22nd, hopefully. It's not April 22nd yet. 1 daughter, 3 grandkids. She's happily married. Grandkids are happy with their dad too. Background, 34 years volunteer fire service, paid fire instructor, paid fire inspector, 4 years United States Army, honorable discharge, if anybody wants to know. That's basically it. I was in the fire protection industry for about 30 years, mostly water-based, meaning fire sprinklers, standpipes, that kind of thing. Worked on the legislative side, didn't put them in. I worked for a trade association, not a union, just a trade association for fire sprinkler companies, and did a lot of legislation, wrote a lot of legislation, was on 2 National Fire Protection Association committees for a couple of decades. And that's one thing about experience with committees and commissions is knowing how to work with other people, how to put committees together, how to put commissions together. And one of my favorite sayings about committees and commissions is that if everybody walks out of a committee meeting kind of looking so-so, okay. If everybody's walking out and they're real glum, nothing got done. But if somebody's walking out with a big smile, somebody got away with something. And that's how committees work. You got to work together. You all got to walk out. Some got to give, some got to take. And that's one of my strengths. Anyway, some of the questions. Commission be reduced? And I'll warn you, we were just talking about this before. I'm trained in testifying in court cases. So, of course, question 1, my answer, yes. And that's about the commission size being reduced. I was very, I was smiles when I heard the resolution come up last year and then it was pulled. Yeah. Why do we need 24 commissioners in Sullivan County? Does somebody have an answer for me? You're the constituents, do we? We do need 24? Oh, no, I was gonna say, I'm for that. We've got 2 seats in District 10. If I'm the one to go, that's fine. But we've done the people service, I think, if we reduce the size of the commission. Should funding be restored to Pet Works? Absolutely. I'm one of the ones that'll be affected by that. My wife and I deal with feral cats. Well, let's put it this way. My wife deals with feral cats. I'm the one that's got to drag them down and get them fixed. I'm the one that's got to drag down and dig out the feral kittens from underneath porches and garages. Already? Boy, that goes fast. But anyway, should appropriate funding be restored to Kingsport schools? Absolutely. We've got to be just got to be watchful. I mean, everything's going to cost, so you have to be watching where the funding's going and what it's going to do to the taxpayers. And I apologize that I didn't get through more questions, but thank you for your time and thank you, Brent.
Thank you. Okay, next, representing District 10, Lakey Derrick.
Thank you. Well, hello, everybody. My name is Lakey Derrick, and I am running to be commissioner for Sullivan County District 10. Before I even say anything about me or answer some of these questions, I want to thank you guys for the work that you're doing with the Kiwanis Club. I think supporting kids is the #1 thing that we can do. And for me, that's honestly what I've dedicated a lot of my life to. So I'm 23 years old. I just graduated from ETSU back in 2024. I started the Turning Point USA chapter at East Tennessee State University. Then I went and worked for that guy right there, Bobby Harshbarger. I was his field director for his state senate campaign. And that's how I actually learned about Kiwanis and the amazing work that you guys are doing, because that was one of his favorite things and still is. So thank you guys so much for that. And today I'm very blessed and honored to say I now work for Turning Point USA. I work and run their high school department called Club America. And I work for all of the East Tennessee portion of high schools. And I know your Key Club students. I talked to some of you guys from Dobbins-Bennett. They actually are the chapter leaders for my Club America chapter there. So we've got some really bright talents all across our area. And I'm so glad to be able to help them and build them up too. And for me, going to that one question about funding our school systems, that's a top priority. I think just like what Mr. Marshall said, whether it's city schools or county schools, we have to fund those because at the end of the day, the kids in those classrooms are the future of this county. And I think that if we want the best jobs, if we want longevity for our region, if we want new business and infrastructure, we have to make that a priority. And for me, that's a top concern. So that's something that I definitely want to focus on. And as far as it goes with reducing pay, reducing commission, yes and yes. I believe that the government's job is to work for you guys. I believe that the government's job is to take in less money. I believe that the government's job is to make sure that the hardworking people of our district and our county can keep the money that they work hard for. So for me, I really want to go through that budget. I want to see what are we spending all of our money on? What are ways that we can reduce our spending? And maybe that can also help us be able to rebring that funding for PetWorks. I think that's a top thing is we need transparency in our government. We need accountability, fiscal responsibility within our government. We need to look at where exactly is this money going, the spending. We want to make sure that everything that we're taking in is accountable to you, the taxpayer. And I know that for me, that's a top priority. I think having it where it's very accessible to the constituent to be able to see that. Another question that was asked here about the automatic pay resolution, I think that's something that definitely is, we can address that on every single time that we're not taking in more money or getting a pay raise as a commission unless we vote on it. That being said, the important part about having commissioners is that we represent you. We tell the state we need to change this in Tennessee code. So that's something that I would be more than happy to do. So for me, just a top priority on what I care about, guys, is the longevity of this county. I think we need a serious 20, 30, 40-year plan to be able to promote business, infrastructure, our schools. Wow, that does go fast. You were right. But guys, all that to say, I thank you so much for being here today. I love this county. I feel called to run. And if you would want to connect with me more, I put some of my flyers on that back table. But I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much.
Okay, next up, representing District Number 10, Linda Buckles. Feel like a game show host up here.
Come on down.
Spin that wheel.
All right. Thank you all for inviting me to talk today. I want to give a little bit of background about myself. I do want to say I am the Linda D. Buckles. There are several Linda Buckles in this area, so I want to stress that. I grew up in Oak Ridge, Tennessee, in a large family. As children, we were never handed anything. If we wanted something, we had to earn it. I learned very quickly how to manage my money so that I could get the most out of it. I graduated from Oak Ridge High School and went on to college at East Tennessee State University, where I earned a bachelor's degree in elementary education. I met my husband, John, while in college. After I graduated, we got married, and we were married for 47 years before John died from ALS in 2018. After teaching a few years, I went back to college and earned a master's degree at Appalachian State. I taught public school for 17 years before I retired to be a mom and worked with John in all our businesses. John and I built several small businesses. After 19 years of marriage, we were finally blessed to have our daughter, Jacqueline. She works for J.B. Hunt Transport and Human Resources as senior manager, people's business partner, after graduating from the University of Tennessee, and I'm very proud of her that she will graduate with her master's degree in May from the University of Tennessee. I have been involved in my church and in many Kingsport community organizations such as Greater Kingsport Boys and Girls Club Foundation Board, Holston Valley Circle of Stars, Kingsport Ballet, Women's Symphony Connection, and the PTSA, Preston Forest Garden Club, and currently serve as a state executive committee woman on the Republican Party. Friends encouraged me to run for this position because of my service on several community boards, my passion for education as a former teacher, and my involvement in the Republican Party. I've seen enough to know that Sullivan County needs leaders who understand the big picture. Reduce the size of the commission. I think that sometimes it's better to have smaller groups. We can get things accomplished by having less people involved. We don't have to deal with so many different what about. Restoring funding to the Kingsport Pet Works. That's a big thing. I think that one of the commissioners now is going to be presenting a resolution shortly to give back $50,000. The absentee policy, as a state committee woman, for all the years that I have been there, for 16 years that I've served on that committee, I have never missed a meeting. I would give back money to the schools. I would give it back in small increments so that we don't have to raise the taxes. Thank you very much.
Thank you. All right, next up, District 9, Todd Golden.
Wait, I'm watching that clock. See when he starts me. I don't want to get gonged out of here. Thank you so much for doing this, Kiwanis. I appreciate it. You absolutely have asked some of the best questions I've seen. I know is all Pat's doing. Actually, Pat's wife. Pat's not that smart. But I appreciate the fact that you ask the questions that need to be asked because you need transparency in your government. You need to understand where the dollars are flowing. Exactly what Dr. Marshall said. We need to know where each one of the pennies is going because that is how the funding mechanism works. My name is Todd Golden. I was born and raised in Albany, Georgia. I have 5 beautiful children given to me by my wonderful, loving best friend, Melissa Golden, who could not be here today. She can't leave me either. Now with 5 children, I have no money, so she has to stay with me. But if there's one thing that I've learned in raising 5 children, it is that you have to be able to manage a budget. You have to be able to know where the dollars are going, and this is the way that we approach. I've been in your school board for 12 years, and so we've managed a $105 million budget for multiple years. We have no ability to raise taxes, nor would I ever want to raise taxes. I think you can do all of these things within the tax budget that's been given to you. You should be able to do all of those things. But to answer some of these questions, get into it, this funding for education must be restored. There is a long-term economic incentive for every dollar you put into education is a $4 to $7 reinvestment back into the community that comes from education. And if you haven't noticed, we're a shrinking system. All of the systems are shrinking because people are having less kids. So the replacement rate is about 2.4 children, 2.1 to 2.4. Sullivan County's average is 1.7. That means we are in a decline. The only growth we are getting is from new move-ins. So there's not enough people. So if you've noticed new people that have moved into your area, what do they like to do is they bring their politics from outside and they start to change. What you need is conservative leadership to hold the line. That is what I've done for 12 years on the school board. That is what you need out of your Sullivan County government. But you need that fiscal responsibility of knowing how to grow, which is invest in your education, grow your infrastructure, and stop fighting with each other. Stop fighting. If we pull in the same direction as an entire county, we can outrun the neighboring county who likes to take all of the new economic growth. We can take all the same stuff that's been dumped into Washington County and we can bring it here. But that requires everyone from Bristol to Kingsport to work together. There's a lot of Kingsport-centric things because 60 cents of every dollar, the tax generation revenue comes from here, Kingsport City. So I would say the leadership needs to come from Kingsport. That's where that needs to be. It doesn't mean you overlook Sullivan County. It means you lead Sullivan County. And that's what needs to take place. You need smart, conservative leaders in those positions who understand, who have done difficult things. I've built multiple businesses. I've worked in the tech industry. I've worked in defense. I now work in pharmaceuticals. Our wife has a business that I've helped her build as well. I have that background to be able to do that. But Sullivan County Commission is a different beast. It's government. And government never moves as fast as you want it to. It never moves the way you want it to, but it eventually gets there. And I hope every one of you in here take someone to the polls to vote. Do not go alone. Take your friends and neighbors. Vote together. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. right, next up, District 9, Joe Carr.
Hello, I'm Joe Carr. I'm one of the incumbent county commissioners for District 9. I've lived in Kingsport all my life. I'm a local realtor, and in my spare time, I enjoy hiking, live music, and keeping the Kingsport Times news and business. Part of being a county commissioner is decisive, so I'm just going to go through all 7 of these in record time. We should reduce the county commission to 18. I'm currently co-sponsor on the resolution with Gary Stidham to restore funding to PetWorks for $50,000. I believe we should restore funding to Kingsport City Schools, but we should do it gradually so there's no tax increase. 4 through 6 here, that's all a yes. And then number 7 here, Bristol, I'm a big fan of regionalism, so I think we should all work together. And if we start taking funding away from Bristol, that's going to make it harder for us to work with them. So yes, Kingsport should lead the way. But I also don't think we should step on our neighbors in Bristol to get there. I think we should all be pulling the same way. Over the past 4 years, I've been one of the most conservative members of the county commission. I've never voted for a property tax increase. I voted no on raising building permit fees. I voted no on the proposal that passed that will allow county commissioners to join the Tennessee Consolidated Retirement System. I wrote and passed unanimously a resolution which kept a needle exchange out of my district. They were going to give away free drug needles on Lingard Drive. I got that stopped. I was part of the unanimous vote that got the West Side Inn torn down. I helped get us new flights to Tri-Cities Regional Airport. So we've got new direct flights to Orlando, D.C., and Chicago. And the other day, I called up Jason Boer. I called up the director of elections. They do a great job down there. I called up Jason Boer and I said, Jason, is there anything in the state law that says I can't use pink flamingos instead of yard signs? And he said no. And then I said, Jason, is there anything in the state law that says I can't put pink flamingos outside of a polling place? And he said, as long as they're back 100 feet. So I'm just letting you all know there's going to be a lot of flamingos. And if I get any complaints about the flamingos, I'm going to add more flamingos. The flamingos will increase until morale improves. All right, so I'm Joe Carr. I'd appreciate your consideration in the May 5th Republican primary. Thank you guys for having me.
So much. Don't mess around. All right, District 8, Bill Sumner.
Smattering of applause. And be careful about insulting newcomers, because I insulted Don last time I gave applause. Just about people from New Jersey coming down here. And I swear I didn't know, Don.
There's Republicans that are leaving New Jersey.
That's true. Is this thing on? Okay. First of all, I'm Bill Sumner. Most of you know me. If you don't, I'm 43 years leading projects in industry for companies like Raytheon and Bell. Retired last year. Product of a Dobbins Bennett High School, Tennessee Tech, and ETSU. I'm a professional engineer in Tennessee, and I was probably the most pertinent thing of what I'm going to say is I was networks chair for 4 years. I'm still acting member of the networks board despite Pat Schwab firing me, which he did. Richard appointed me back, but I still love Pat. We still are great friends. My 3 priorities, and then I'll talk about this list real quickly, but my 3 priorities, I think number 1 should be getting that education funding back, because it's the cornerstone of my passion, which is recruiting industries. This is what I know and this is what I've done. And so that's my passion, is getting, nothing excites me more than a nice industrial park, because it really gets there. That means jobs, it means income, it means really growth. And we need to grow. The way we need to grow, that's really what I want to do with economic development, is get industries here, get people here. Last year we lost 4,000 more people than we reproduced. So our county's shrinking. The only way we're going to keep it where we are and keep our taxes close, or by growing moderately. Number 3, I want to be a student of the budget. I say understand it enough so I can understand what we're spending where, so we can look at not spending what we think we need to spending what we actually know we need to spend. Talking about networks a little bit, we have done very well in the since 2015. We've had 20 new companies We've had 2,500 new jobs from the new companies and 3,300 jobs from expansions of existing companies, which is obviously very important. It's been $1.2 billion was spent on expansions by existing companies and 160 million spent in capital by new companies. So that's how we grow. That's how we keep our taxes down. That's how we get better and better. We have a problem right now and the reason that's important because our seniors are having a problem paying their taxes. It's when you're I just went through this myself, setting up a retirement, you set your budget up, this is how much I have. 20 years goes by, inflation for 20 years, all of a sudden your budget's not what you thought it was going to be. We need to help those folks, and I think there's some things we can do about it. I know there's some things we can do about it, which hopefully you'll hear about later. So back to the questions. As Pat suggested, the answer is yes to all. I'll qualify a little bit by saying about the size, we need to understand what the proper size is, not just throw a number out there because Johnson City does it, because I don't care what Johnson City does. Pay, same thing. It is hard. You spend a lot of money and time traveling back and forth to Bluntful, which is a day's ride on a horse from each side of the county. That's how it was set up. It's still a pretty good ride in a car with gas high and everything else. Automatic pay raises, sure. Restore funding to PetWorks. PetWorks is more about getting along with Bristol, which is, we turned Networks from a fight, as Golden talked about, into a very cooperative organization where we now care about Sullivan County's success, and we're part of Team Sullivan County. That's all I got to say. Thank you very much.
All right. Next up, District 7, Sam Jones.
Thank you, Brent. Thank you all for allowing us to be here today. Real privilege. I'm not in the Kiwanis, I'm in the Ruatan. We say we're the county Kiwanis, but we're primarily a rural organization. When I spoke to another group in this room, I left out some things. So I just want to say I am married, be 41 years to Susie and Sid. July 6th. We have 3 children, 4 grandchildren. I served 3 years in the U.S. Army, 3 tours in Vietnam. Very active in the military in this community, this region. Tri-City Military Affairs Council, which I'm president, which is an umbrella for other organizations. Most of them belong to us, but I'm active with the AMVETS, the Vietnam Veterans of America, American Legion, and DAV. Do quite a bit with Dom. We did a service yesterday together. I've been involved in this community. I served as the president of Kingsport Tomorrow, an organization that did its duty and served this community. We got a lot of things done during that time. Susan LaGuardia headed the organization, and seen a lot of things happen in Sullivan County. I was first appointed to serve a vacant position. So I served in that position. I represented Bluff City, Piney Flats, Chinky Pen. I don't know if y'all even know where that is. Hickory Tree, Fairview, and Rock Springs. Then we moved, our family grew, and we moved to Colonial Heights. And I've been privileged to represent Colonial Heights, Military, and Holston, District 7. But I've been a part of creating the EMS system in Sullivan County that serves the whole county. Sponsoring, was a co-sponsor on the Educate and Grow scholarship to Northeast State, which originated out of a meeting in Kingsport with your leaders, and the county took the lead on that. That Hope Scholarship, other counties up here came on after us, but it's now the foundation of the Hope Scholarship that the state is using. And they're funding it primarily through lottery. The helped build 4 new high schools, when I graduated, we had 8 county high schools and 2 city high schools. We now have 4 or 2 county schools, and have seen that, as Todd said, the population is going down. And but we've done some things in the last couple of years. Sorry. Thank you so much. Most of my stuff is on that card if you'll look at it. I would love to talk to you about the questions. Thank you very much for the opportunity.
Okay, next up, District 7, Jimmy Bowser.
Thank you. My name is Jimmy Bowser, and I'm running for County Commissioner District 7. I'm nervous, but all these questions they're all good. They just give you like 3 minutes, whatever, to answer and everything. But still, I think it's questions that's up for discussion on a lot of them. And I think we can run with lesser commissioners if it just don't put too much on the ones that's left. If you've got 24 and then you take away, say 18, whatever, it's going to put more stress on the commissioners. And can they or me or whoever get the job done with that? That's what I'm talking about, discussion. Things need to be discussed a lot with the commissioners and everybody and the public. I want to involve the public more. And I've been in this community. Well, I'll be 67 years old this year, all my life. And like I say, I've got roots here too. My grandparents, my parents, different ones. But I'm wanting to bring back trust, responsibility. Just like Sam Jones said, I grew up kind of the old style. I went to the old Holston School, high school then, and then graduated from Central in '78. And I, wherever I've worked, I've always been in like a management position and have the responsibility. I can handle the responsibility and getting things done. And so I'm not I guess a do-gooder, but I want to do good. I want to do an excellent job. If I do get my foot in the door, I want to do an excellent job. And it's not me, it's everybody else. I'm not going to be working by myself. Be a team. I want it to be a team again, and all this. I know everybody has their own opinion of things, but we need to. I know it's a slow process, but we need to slow down a little bit more, and like these questions, and answer these questions, and like you have the old news, the new news. Let's get the old news took care of first, and get that out of the way, and then do the new news. I don't know if I'm making any sense or not, but this is just the way I feel. When I worked at Honda, I worked there for 20. I was on the BDC thing, and all they wanted to do were they do the new news, but what about the old news? Just like if you had a customer had a problem, we need to get this handled, and get it settled right. Do it right. So I know my time's not up. I guess that's all I've got to say. And I want to thank you for allowing me, a little person like me, to be here today. That's why I was thinking about coming down the road. I thought the Kiwanis, they invited me to come down, and they don't even know me, and that's the way I feel. So I appreciate y'all. Thank you.
Okay, and last but not least, representing District 6, Bob Harshwell.
I'm glad they turned that around. I had a little time to get my breath. I'm Bob Harshbarger. My beautiful wife is Diana Harshbarger, Congresswoman. My son's Bobby Harshbarger. I'm very, very blessed. The Lord has blessed me. I'm running because I'm very concerned about our commission. We need reform, bad. We need transparency, and we need accountability. It's like everything's been run out there without any of us knowing what's going on. Most people don't know this, but we take in more revenue than any county in the surrounding Northeast Tennessee, all the way down to Knoxville. But we spend more than any other county as well. We don't have a revenue problem, folks. We've got a damn spending problem. And then every time we turn around, we got guys in here voting for property tax increases like they're changing underwear. So I'm calling them out. One thing I can promise you, I've been in business for 38 years. We don't have to raise property taxes. We just don't. We got more revenue in any county from here to Knoxville. We got a spending problem. They can push that button and raise those property taxes on us, and that's just not fair to the people in this room. And I'm going to call them out. If you allow me to be on that commission, I'll stand up for you. Because I think about every time we'll have a vote, I'll think about that single mom working 2 jobs, that retiree on a fixed income, a small business owner just trying to make ends meet, keep the lights on. Well, I promise you, I will never raise the property taxes. And if we're good stewards of the money, we don't have to. Joe said it. He's never voted for it. There's no reason for it. But we spend. You know, we've built a $140 million high school. We had to have the jail. You know, it's bad. So we need more control out there. We need people that's going to stand up. It's been in business. It understands how to run a business, because it is a business. I don't care if it is the government. And it comes to Pet Works. That's one of my pet peeves. We give $750,000 to our animal care out in the county. They're a private organization. They won't show us their books. But then the mayor asked us to make sure we give them that money. But we cut Pet Works. Does that make sense? Does that make sense, y'all? It doesn't make sense to me. $750,000, you can't see their books. I'm sitting on that commission. I'm going to look at them and say, if you want money, you show us your books. And it's just not, it's this good old boy system's got to go, folks. It's just got to go. And I'm serious about it. I don't take this as lightly. Education, that's everything. Our kids are everything. We need to get that money back to them. We have to sit down and figure out the best way. I don't think we're going to be able to give it to them tomorrow, but I think we can get it back to them. And I think in the future, we have to make sure they get their money. Absenteeism on the commission. You're putting people in here. Anybody in here from District 11? Most of you. They didn't even show up here today. That tells you what about them. Thank you all.
Let's give all these candidates a big round of applause. Thank you all for your willingness to run, to do this, to stick your neck out on the limb. I mean, it's a commitment. So, and $900 is not a lot of money to for what you're doing, but you have to have a passion to run for any political office. So, thank you all for that. We actually ended up a little bit earlier than we were expecting.